All right, welcome back, everyone. Next up, we have REGENX Technologies, trades on the OTCQB under the symbol MWXRF and on the TSXV under RGX. Today, we'll be speaking with Greg Pendura, the CEO and chairman of REGENX Technologies. REGENX utilizes proprietary technology to recover precious metals from retired catalytic converters. Their solution provides a more environmentally friendly and efficient alternative to the current option of smelting. Please welcome CEO and chairman Greg Pendura. Welcome, Greg. How are you today?
I'm great, Anna. Thank you. Thank you for the intro. It was a pretty good summary of what we're all about. But I'd like to share a pretty exciting opportunity, I believe, with the audience. What I'd like to sort of, I guess, stress is that I want to hopefully show how REGENX can make an investor thrive. This is the whole idea why people are looking at these conferences, and I believe we have a diamond in the rough, and we're at the urge of a breakout here, and I think in a very short period of time, we're going to become a very well-known company. So I invite you to become involved in our corporate story, follow it, and hopefully you can be part of something which I believe is going to be rather significant. Our historical roots have been in the mining industry. We've spent years developing environmentally friendly processes for the recovery of precious metals from end-of-life components. Recently, we had a name change, and we've just started a rebranding initiative to reflect our transition from mining. Our old name was REGENX Technologies, and it is now, as Anna mentioned, REGENX Technologies, basically representing the rejuvenation from end of life to new. The ability to recover precious metals from scrap components through a clean tech process, and to reuse these recovered precious metals for the manufacture of new components. So slide 1, the future of precious metal recovery. I believe this is where the whole industry segment is going to be heading. Our initial focus is going to be on diesel catalytic converters, and we see that as a low-hanging fruit opportunity, which I'll explain a little more as we go on. And so with that, I'd just like to start our presentation. Forward-looking statements, primarily I'll be referring to some aspects of economics, growth, and that sort of thing. So it'll be covered under our forward-looking statements. Just a review of what we'll be talking about in the presentation here. We see this as a huge opportunity in a niche, undeserved or underserved market segment. Up until now, smelters have been the primary consumer, if you like, of recycled catalytic converters. And the low-hanging fruit here being that smelters are more and more shying away from diesel catalytic converters. There's multiple reasons for that, which we'll address a little further in the presentation. So because of this, we feel that we're going to be really the only viable option available on a commercial basis. And we'll be doing that through an environmentally friendly, clean tech process. We have a very strong supply stream. We have a business relationship with the company in Tennessee, Davis Recycling. They've been in the catalytic converter recycling business for over 20 years, highly respected company. And I'll talk about a little bit more about them as we go on. Currently, there's only about 30% of the catalytic converters being recycled. And as we talk about it, as we go through the presentation, you'll be seeing that there's an enormous amount of money being left on the table here. And we're excited to be going after that. The expansion potential because of that is huge, not just in North America, but globally. This is a global issue. And we're going to set up our roots initially in North America and then expand from there. Excellent economics. The plant returns are very, very good. And as we get into that, you'll be seeing that from an investor perspective, there is going to be a very strong upside to where we'll be going. About 84% of the world supply of the precious metal palladium is used for catalytic converters. I'm sure a lot of people are not aware of that. That in itself is problematic, obviously. The two major sources of platinum and palladium, which are the main chemicals in the or metals in the catalytic converters, diesel catalytic converters, come from South Africa and Russia. Now, South Africa right now has got huge geopolitical issues related to mining, costs, environment, labor. South Africa is in a precarious situation right now, and the other country is Russia, and we all know about what's going on in Russia right now. So there's going to be strong supply issues coming forth from basically because of what's going on in these two countries, and hence to have the ability to recover platinum and palladium from spent catalytic converters is going to be a huge bonus. The primary market is transportation. I'm sure most people are aware of what catalytic converters are. Catalytic converters simply think of it as a device to reduce toxic emissions from gas or diesel powered engines. The biggest share of diesel catalytic converters right now is in the transportation segment, light trucks, automotive, commercial vehicles. A large chunk, about 30% globally occurs in the U.S., but there's obviously an enormous market outside of the U.S. as well. There's a large secondary industry as well, and when it comes to diesel catalytic converters, we have your standalone generators, all your industrial plants. If you see a smokestack, there is a diesel catalytic converter associated with that, and heavy duty equipment, off-road, construction, whatever. This is a very, very large part of the marketplace, and it will continue to grow as time goes on. About 27 million vehicles or auto catalytic converters become available each year in scrap, and as I said, only 30% of the palladium is recovered. So obviously a large opportunity in this untapped market. If you have the ability to recover these, I believe you've got a strong business model. As I mentioned, smelting is the dominant commercial method to recover platinum and palladium. This industry is expected to grow to over 70 billion by 2025. But smelters are maxed out right now. Most smelters are have got their hands full from the mining industry and other related components. So they have a limited capacity to increase their outputs. They've got carbon emission issues. Most of them are pretty well hitting the threshold of what they can do. And as well as I mentioned previously, they're shying away from diesel catalytic converters because of processing issues within their facilities. And as I said, they've got their hands full with other opportunities. So this brings out the aspect of low-hanging fruit, which I alluded to at the beginning of our presentation. Lately, smelters are becoming, as I said, less responsive to accepting diesel catalytic converters. They're imposing stricter penalties or outright rejecting batches that contain diesel catalytic converters. In the prior years, recyclers were combining diesel with gas and getting away with it. But that's not the case now. And as I mentioned, there are penalties for that. And hence, it just adds to the backlog of inventory available for diesel catalytic converters. Now, as I said, it's a huge market. The industry is going to expand by about 50%, from $25 billion to about $39 billion by 2025. And when we're looking at diesel or commercial trucking, a life cycle for 10 years is about the end of the use for diesel catalytic converters. So they're from 2005 on, commercial vehicles have really increased in production, and there is going to be an absolute glut coming on the market here in a very short period of time, and it's not going anywhere very, very quickly. People are saying, like, what about the electric vehicles? And electric vehicles are coming on the market, but they are not going to have a huge effect for a couple of decades for what we were talking about here. Just to develop the infrastructure for a rapid EV vehicle exposure into the marketplace is it's going to pose huge problems. But anyway, electric vehicles are coming. We do not see an impact in our business resulting from that, as I said, for decades. The expectation is for probably about a 25 to 30% increase in catalytic converters in the next short period of time, and it'll continue. So we will never be able to meet the demand to recover the precious metals from the availability in the marketplace. The current market pricing for platinum and palladium is strong, and is projected to continue in the future. Palladium has increased 135% in the last few years. Platinum about 23%. There's an ongoing growing demand. It's not getting smaller. And as I said before, with the problems we have in Russia and South Africa, the ability to have an adequate supply is problematic. Along with that, it's difficult mining platinum, palladium, rhodium. It's costly. And it's to have a tool or a method to recover adequately the precious metals that have already been used is a huge bonus, and it's going to fare very, very well as we move forward. Just one of our partners with Davis Recycling, a senior management partner, Andy Kolb, the other chap is Don Weatherby, our used to be CFO, now just recently announced to be president of REGENX. We have an excellent relationship with that company, and I'll talk a little bit more about them as we move forward. But the huge thing, one factor there, a statistic which is significant, over $20 billion per year of the precious metals are not being recycled. That's an enormous amount of waste that we think we're going to make a significant impact in that particular area. Our solution recovers over 90% of the precious metals from the end-of-life catalytic converters. And again, in an environmentally friendly manner, it is a very efficient way of recovering these precious, or PGMs, if you want to call it that. And I'll talk about a little bit more about that as we move forward. But to have an environmentally friendly solution that's going to recover in excess of 90% of the PGMs in the material is really significant. So just a little bit about the process here. The input materials, there's not many players involved in that business, but it's one where it's crucial to have the supply chain management expertise in order to be successful in this business. Davis Recycling checks all the boxes in the supply chain management. They've been in the business for over 20 years. They're one of the largest catalytic converter recyclers. They have a exposure in about 13 states around Tennessee, but in reality, their network expands beyond that. But the focus of their business is within those 13 states, and it's a significant part of the U.S. population. And so they've got all the expertise from procurement to transportation, distribution of the materials, to grading, to inventory, to quality control. They are experts in the business, and as I said, without that expertise, a company such as ours would be hard pressed to succeed. So we've had a relationship with Davis for about three years now. They've been very, very supportive of what we're doing, and we couldn't be happier to have a relationship like we have with that particular company. So what they will be doing, all the spent diesel catalytic converters will be going to their facility in Johnson City, Tennessee. There, the catalytic converters are cut. The center portion, or the honeycomb, is removed from the catalytic converter. The honeycomb is where the precious metals are located. And again, the purpose of that is to have the chemical reactions which eliminate or greatly reduce the toxic emissions into the environment. So the honeycomb is taken out, it's crushed, it's grinded through various different processes into a fine powder material. That fine powder material comes to us. where we use our chemical solution to put the powder into our solution. We basically, the precious metals are taken out of the powder. They're suspended in solution. We go through a few other steps where it is now taken out of solution back into solid form, where you have your precious metals, and it's very pure. It's getting in the high 80% purity. And just to top it up to 99.9% purity, we send that to a refiner to get it to that level of purity. I greatly simplified the whole process, but that's more or less how that business works. And as I said, we're well on our way to the commercial end of what we're doing. Just talk a little bit about the plant. We're in the final. We've completed our pilot plant testing in Tennessee, and our commercial project or our commercial plant is a modular concept, and each plant will have 4 modules in the facility. The 4 modules will be the output will be approximately 10 tons per day of the honeycombs, and we are presently constructing our first module, our first commercial production module, which is underway right now, and we anticipate that to be completed around the end of the year or early next year, first quarter, and once we go through the calibration phase, the startup phase, which we anticipate will be done before the end of the first quarter, that module 1 will be going into full production. About 2.5 tons per day will be its output. We will immediately order 3 more modules to complete the 4 module concept for that particular facility. And as I said, it'll be doing 10 tons per day. Rough numbers on what we are projecting for revenues there based upon our test data to date, what we've been working on, the grades of the material which we've been using for the last 1.5 years or so, will be about approximately $100 million per year annual revenue with the 4 modules. So obviously our first module will be about 25 million annually, just to give you an idea on numbers of what each module is capable of. And our expected margins are going to be in the 20% range. So a very, very attractive business from a profitability perspective. And as I said, we're started our construction on module 1, and obviously as we're going through the completion of that phase, we'll be updating our shareholders and interested parties on that. Our CapEx payback on each plant is going to be significantly less than 1 year for each, which is basically unheard of for a manufacturing production facility. So from a business model perspective, very strong economics. The slide just popped up. I apologize for that. But on the carbon credit side, this will be another, we'll call it a secondary revenue source for us. We've looked into that a fair amount already, and there's a fair bit of analysis that has to be done. in auditing. So we'll be getting involved into that, obviously, but most of that will be done once we start our production. Again, Davis Recycling, our partner in the business. Johnson City, Tennessee is where they're located, and they've been a significant player in this industry for a good many years. Our development milestones. We started our lab research in 2020 in Vancouver, Canada. Very successful. We did built our pilot plant in Vancouver, Canada in 2021 to prove up the scale-up concept. We've transported that pilot plant down to Johnson City, Tennessee, and increased the necessary scale-up procedures that we had to understand in order to go into the commercial plant size, which we have. And as I said, the commercial plant Module 1 will be ready first quarter 2023. Future expansion, focusing on the U.S. marketplace for now. Once we have a strong foothold in that marketplace, we'll expand globally and go on from there. Key management team. One thing I'd like to just sort of add here is simply our R&D. Fabrizio Mea, a Brazilian PhD engineer who's been with us from day one on our lab R&D. His team has done a phenomenal job. He's at 25 years experience in the mining industry on the extraction side. So his experience fit in perfectly with what we were doing. So our R&D team, I take my hats off to them because they've done a phenomenal job in a very, very short period of time. All right, that's the conclusion of our presentation. I'd like to thank everyone for taking the time to hear about our company. I invite you to follow our progress. I believe we're very close to checking all our boxes for rapid growth. And as I said initially when we first started, we are a diamond in the rough. It's only a short window left before we are into commercial production. I think the people who become part of our corporate story are going to experience significant upside in their investment in our company, and I'm excited about it. I hope you are, and if you have any further questions, feel free to contact the company. But with that, Anna, are there any quick questions which we can focus in on?
Yes, great job, Greg. Let's talk a little bit about your name change. What prompted that?
The name change was probably primarily to show our transition from mining into technology. I mean, it's the use of the term rejuvenation from old to new was central to us, and we wanted to present that in a clean tech, environmentally friendly fashion. So that was the prime reason behind that.
And how much palladium and platinum can you potentially recover using this process?
Well, in one of our plants, in a 10-ton per day facility, our annual production of platinum and palladium will be approximately 2 tons, 4,000 pounds of platinum palladium. So pretty significant.
And let's talk scalability. How scalable is your technology?
After we build and complete Module 1, we'll be able to produce 3 or 4 modules at a time, and the window there will be anywhere from a 6-month to a 9-month window from start to being into full production. So very scalable.
And where are you in terms of commercialization of this technology?
Well, as I said, we've just completed all our pilot plant testing. The pilot plant is still ongoing. It will continue even though when we are in commercial production, simply to give better efficiencies to our process. So, excuse me. That plant will always be going on. Our first module, commercial module, is being built now. We anticipate that to be into full commercial production sometimes in Q1 of next year.
And Dylan Caldwell wants to know, how long does your process take from input of catalyst materials to finished metal concentrate from electro winning?
Well, we've got the whole process is it'll be approximately an hour, a little bit more than that from start to finish. There's variances in there depending upon what we're doing, but typically between 1 to 2 hours from start to finish.
Okay. And Irene M wants to know, how many companies are actually doing this? Are there any majors in the space that may want to acquire you because of your supply network?
There are no other companies doing this. The only commercial recovery method is smelters, which I've talked to. There's no company like ours who will be recovering it in an environmentally friendly manner, in a commercially viable business, if you want to call it that. So what's going to happen down the road? Who knows? We've got a lot of inquiries from large automotive people. There's a lot of interest in what we're doing. Once we tell the world that Module 1 has been checked off, all the boxes are checked off, it's doing what we want it to do, we are going to have a lot of media exposure, because to have a environmentally friendly production facility like this in the United States is it's exciting. I mean, there's no other company that will do that.
I can see that. Aaron M wants to know, how capital intensive is refining the raw materials, and what are the profit margins, and how do you measure that? Is it by the pound?
Yeah, we go by margins there, and when I use the term $100 million revenue annually, that's based upon a lower grade material. It's on the conservative side, put it that way. And so with the input material cost, if there's a cost to the feedstock, so the revenue generated, 100 million, we'll use that particular figure. After all our input costs and everything, our margins are going to be in the 20% area.
Connie Hubbard wants to know where you're getting the raw materials, and after you rejuvenate them, what is the end product and who are the customers?
Okay, that's a good question. We get our materials from Davis Recycling. They are our supply side for the diesel catalytic converters. That's the reason for our partnership with them. Once we extract the platinum and the palladium from the process, the end customers could be a automotive company who want to be part of the circle economy, whereby rather than mining for new platinum and palladium, they can tell their shareholders that they are using a regenerated material, platinum and palladium, which they can use in their new catalytic converters. So it's a very strong message that they can give to their shareholders. It all falls under the ESG space these days. So it's a win-win for all parties involved.
Nick H notices the cash position dropped significantly since year-end 2021. Did that go into infrastructure or raw materials? Can you comment on that?
Yeah, most of those costs went from our pilot plant, from start to completion of that pilot plant, add-ons to it, operation of it. I don't want to call it R&D costs, because there was a lot of other components that are part of that. But almost all of the expenditures our company has would fall under our a R&D / pre-commercial basis.
And Christopher Lakowski wants to know, how do the carbon credits figure into future revenue?
That's to be determined. We know that obviously we're going to be part of that business model, if you like. We don't know how much. It's as I was saying, it's a pretty intensive auditing has to be done by the regulatory people to determine exactly where you fit into that scheme, and you have to be in primarily in a commercial production mode in order for all that to happen. So this will start to happen. Well, let's say second quarter of next year.
And how much additional capital will be required to complete modules 2 to 4?
We're assuming that a 4-module plant is going to be about approximately $6 million US to complete. And I say approximately because a large chunk of the capex, the additional part of that is your fabrication assembly cost from, and that's what we're fine tuning right now. We know what the equipment is going to cost, the capex on that, but I'll throw out a number approximately $6 million a year. $6 million a 4-module facility.
Bradley Potter wants to know if it's true that a shareholder of REGENX will get a special dividend at the sale of your mining assets.
Yes, they will. All existing shareholders in REGENX now or MineWorks will be receiving a special dividend from their participation of we spun out one of our iron assets in Spain into a company that became known as Iron Bull Mining, and all previous MineWorks shareholders and actually new shareholders up until close to the end of this year will be eligible for that dividend, if you want to call it that. It'll be a share dividend.
And last question for you, Greg, from James Heiberger. What byproducts are created in the processing, and is there any waste disposal concerns?
There's not. That's a very good question. We've got interested parties in our, I'll call it like from mining. Think of tailing ponds. If you not ponds, but tailings. When you do ore, process ore, you end up with a significant amount of tailings. And the same thing with the catalytic converters here. We have interest from tailings from various parties already, from a construction in a construction basis, whether it be for a fill-in for what they're using. So it won't be going to a landfill. It'll be totally used. There's no wastewater issues. There's no air issues. So it is a clean tech process, and there'll be nothing going to landfills.
Well, this has been a fascinating presentation. What a thrilling sector you're in. So thank you for your time with us today. And please join us in the future with these updates, important updates.
I will, Anna. Thank you very much for the invite.
All right. Thank you, Greg. We'll see you again soon. Okay, everyone, stay with us. We're popping over to our next presenter. We'll be right back.